What's going on, everybody? It's natural junior bodybuilder Nick Wright. Now, what is the deal with bench pressing with your feet up in the air and ankles crossed Indian style? A lot of you guys have seen people do this in the gym. In fact, most of you, if you've been subscribed to my channel, have seen me doing this while doing flat dumbbell bench pressing in my last video, the meal by meal series. Now, I wanted to explain to you guys exactly what the difference is and why I actually like it best for chest building. Now, all of you guys know in my career of competing for the last 6 or 7 years, my chest has been my one lagging weak spot. So, believe me when I tell you, I notice the differences in what techniques work and what techniques don't, because every little bit counts for me. For those of you unsure about what I'm talking about, you've seen in my other videos I break down proper bench press form. Now, the ideal original bench press form is feet planted, butt planted, upper back and shoulder blades planted, a slight arch in your back, and pressing. Like so. What this does is allows me to drive from my legs, from my feet, drive through my hips, and get a whole lot more power from my body that way. That gives me a stronger bench press. Now, once in a while, you've seen people in the gym, or in fact, you've seen me on video, bench pressing like this, with their feet up and crossed. What's the deal with that? Why use that method as opposed to feet on the ground? Okay, first let's look at the angles of it. Now, neither one of these are right or wrong, and the difference isn't serious enough to not have to do one or the other. But there's a little bit of a difference, and it may or may not feel more comfortable to do one than the other. Now, the original bench press style requires your feet on the ground like we just discussed and your legs planted. What this does to your chest essentially is stretch it. You have two different forces that stretches your chest in two different directions. And this happens because when you put your feet down, your legs and your hips drop down towards the ground. Look what this essentially does. It essentially pulls your spine down towards your feet, and it pulls and stretches your entire ribcage, your entire diaphragm down towards your feet. So now when I drop my legs, my entire chest is being pulled and stretched downward with my legs. While my arms and shoulders have to be brought up forward in order to remain in the present position. What this is doing is then stretching my chest forward while my legs are trying to pull and stretch it downward. So now my chest is being stretched in two different directions along with my entire body. This is going to cause some awkwardness when it comes to pressing, because now instead of, particularly with dumbbells, worrying about only stabilizing them going up and down, you have to make sure they don't go forward or fall backwards. So you're stabilizing them every which way because your legs are trying to pull them everything down this way while you're trying to force your arms and shoulders to push everything up this way. So you have to worry about stabilizing it while pressing it. This is going to bring a whole lot of other muscles into the press. And of course, now your feet are planted so you can drive at your legs, drive at your hips. It's going to incorporate a lot more power, which is going to come from a lot of other muscle groups. Whereas with your feet up, all of a sudden that arch in your back is gone. So nothing is being stretched or pulled this way. And since you're not driving with your feet, you don't have to worry about driving with your hips and bypassing your spine. There's no risk on your spine anymore since you're not pushing with your feet. That arch is only there to protect you when you're driving from your feet. So since you're not pushing with your feet, the arch is irrelevant. Your back's back to being flat on the bench now, and your feet are up, your butt is rolled up. This is going to put all the tension, instead of being on the top and on the bottom, pulling from each other, it's going to bring it all into the center of your chest. Now your center is the main thing planted. Now, your body's not trying to pull your arms this way. You're not trying to force your entire upper body this way. So your arms are going to happily stay planted right here since your chest is now the center of your gravity. It's now the center of attention. So now all you have to worry about doing is pushing up and coming back down slow. It's so easy. Let me give you guys a perfect example on exactly what I'm talking about. It's real easy. You can see it with your own eyes. Tuck in your shirt when you're doing a bench press. Ready? Tuck in your shirt so it's nice and tight against you. Now watch the difference on my shirt. Okay, shirt's tucked in. As soon as I put my feet down, what happens? My belly is being stretched out. The shirt is being stretched downward. So as I put my arms up, all of a sudden my chest rises up, my diaphragm rises up, stretches the shirt completely. Now my shirt is skin tight because it's being stretched. Look how much is being stretched right now. It's being pulled this way by my hips and legs. It's being pulled this way by my upper body. That's what your chest is essentially doing. That's what your entire body's doing. So now you have to worry about your arms dropping either which way and stabilization and all that good stuff. Now as soon as I bring my legs upward, look what happens. Look at my shirt. It's nice and loose again. It's not being stretched. I have no tension pulling it this way or that way. And look at the wrinkles. The wrinkles all happen right in the chest area because the center of attention is once again the chest. All the center of tension is again on your chest. So you can just drive with your chest right against the bench, back nice and flat, your butt's rolled up, and you can just push. And because of this, since your back is being pushed, since your upper back is being pushed against the bench, you're able to push naturally up and slightly forward, turning it into almost like a slight decline motion, which is going to give you a much stronger push. Balancing. Everyone's afraid of balancing, but look at it this way. Your body's like an old school weight scale, okay? You put something in one end, it's going to tilt this way. You put something heavier in this end, it's going to lean this way. You keep something of equal weight in either side, it's going to stay 100% balanced no matter how heavy that thing is. Okay, so those heavy ass dumbbells that you're worried will knock you off the bench are actually what are going to help you stay balanced, because you're having an equal amount of weight held at an equal level of elevation at a far enough distance from your center of gravity, which is your body. It's the same principle as walking a tightrope and keeping your arms out to either side. That equal weight is going to help you stay balanced. That's what the dumbbells are doing. They're helping you stay balanced. This is ultimately going to A, save your form and save you a lot of mileage in your body, prevent injury, and it's going to B, help you develop an even chest instead of having one side slightly more developed than the other because it's a little bit stronger. Look at it this way. Now, with my feet planted, my upper body has no responsibility as far as keeping myself balanced, keeping my tension even. If my feet are balanced and I start to lose one side and I'm leaning this way, I just push this foot harder, drive my hip forward, call upon my core muscles to support me, and then drive with my shoulder and tricep to finish that last rep. I just called upon all my supporting muscles to finish my rep for me. That didn't do a thing for my chest. And since in that situation, obviously my right arm was a little bit stronger because I'm right-handed, my right arm got all the chest movement. That left arm was a bunch of supporting muscles and driving with my shoulder and tricep. That's horrible. That's going to give me an uneven chest. My right side will be more developed than my left side. And it's going to cause a whole lot of injury. I'm going to pull something or tweak something just by trying to keep myself on the bench that way and trying to shovel that last rep up. When you're balanced, however, obviously you can't drive. Your feet are up in the air, so you can't drive them onto the ground, lift your hips up by accident, and tweak your back by driving your spine too hard. And heaven forbid, if you start to lose that last rep, there is no struggling around, wiggling around, pushing one side harder to catch it. You can't get that last rep evenly and cleanly. There's no lifting your hips off the bench. There's no digging your back in. There's no fixing or compensating one side to push it up. There's no calling upon stabilization muscles or dumping the chest and going onto your shoulders and triceps. If you can't finish that last failure set, you just lose it and you drop the dumbbells. Simple as that. It keeps you safe and it keeps all the tension in your chest. Some of you may be asking, well, what about those last final reps that you push out? If you can't get any more just because you want to stay balanced, isn't that taking away a couple of extra potential reps you could have given yourself in the chest? Like I just said, if I can't finish those extra reps just by using the isolation of my chest, what does that mean? That means those last extra reps would have just been my triceps and my shoulders doing all the work at that point. 4 quality reps is better for your chest than 6 or 7 forced, ugly reps that are just going to do nothing but burn out and potentially injure all your supporting muscles.